Hello, everyone. It's your friend Tristan Miller. I'm just here to inform you that I'm recording my first stand-up comedy album and special on May the 4th in New York City at Caveat at 4 p.m. You can go to the link in my bio on my social media platforms, or you can go to caveat.com, go to May the 4th, and buy tickets there. Highly recommend that you get them early as they are cheaper that way. Also, after the show, I'm going to go, Phantom Menace is playing in theaters. So I'm going to take a big group to go to the nearest AMC or whatever Cineplex and go see my favorite Star Wars movie. I'll say it with my full chest. My favorite Star Wars movie in theaters again. So hope to see you at both things. If you have to pick one, just pick my show, please. I would like to sell out the house if possible. Anyway, love you. Hope to see you soon. Okay, bye-bye. Coming soon to theaters, podcasts, film reviews, and so much more. Available at tristanmiller.substack.com.
And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Focus Testing, a podcast about movies where we make a movie. My name is Tristan Miller, and joining me today is the wickedly talented Liz Coyne. How are you, Liz?
Hey, Tristan. Wickedly talented. Wow. I will take it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad. I'm excited to have you. Because we met doing a show as well, and then also, so I have proof positive that you're very funny, which is always nice, you know, when I book a guest and I actually can see them work. But how did you fall into doing comedy work, improvised or otherwise?
Yeah. I am from Iowa, and there was a very active community theater and theater scene where I grew up. It still is to this day. And so I was in my first sketch comedy group when I was 13.
Hell yeah.
And we were called the Laugh-Leets, and we did a new show.
That's
We
good.
did a new show once a month, brand new, a la Saturday Night Live, and we would get like local bands to come be our musical guests, and it was awesome. So I did that when I was 13, and I just always wanted to do it. I went to Northwestern because it was close to Second City. And improv, I was the captain of my improv group in high school, which sounds cool, but we had no direction. I just like got given the title, and then we would improvise at these competitions, but we had no idea what we were doing. I didn't learn anything about improv until I got to college. Everything prior was just us winging it. But then I stuck with it, and now I do it all the time. So yeah, I love improv. That's how, since I was young.
That's great. I feel like I have a very similar background as well, like starting theater when I was like 13 and doing sketches then and then growing it from there. And you know, it's not just about comedy and whatever, but also, what do you remember your first time you were in a cinema, or what's your first memory in a cinema?
A cinema.
Cinema.
Oh my God. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if it's my first memory or it's like my parents' first memories. I don't remember my first movie in the theater. I watched so many at home. We used to go to the public library and rent movies and watch them at home. So that's what I remember more so of what would have been in the actual movie theater. Can't remember. But I love going to the movies. Love going to the movies. I love the story specifically of my dad going to see Star Wars for the first time in theaters, because my dad was born in 1960, so his parents took him to go see it. In what year did that come out?
77.
77?
So he would have been 17?
Yeah, he would have been 17. Really? He was that young? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, so it came out 77. I was going through my grandmother's old journals, or like planners, like time planners, and I found the day that Star Wars came out, handwritten, take Harry to see Star Wars, when my dad first saw it. So that's not my memory, but it is a cool story.
That is so lovely. That's really lovely. And this is also, I mean, I think it's to people who are like, don't be a hoarder, this can be a lesson to you. Keep your old journals. Your
Oh my,
your grandkids
your
might like
nosy
them.
granddaughter might look at them after you die and think, wow, what a life lived.
I know. What a celebrate. What a joy.
What a
Um,
joy. I did. I loved doing that. But I loved movies, watching them at home
mhm.
specifically. I used to always love and still love, I just watched it the other day, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor
Hell
Dreamcoat.
yeah, dog.
The movie
Hmm.
with Donny Osmond is so gay and delicious and like just over the top. Like they were all doing drugs after the it was like it's such a it's a Jesus musical, but like is it when you watch it back, it's so horny. It's great.
Yeah.
And I watched that shit on loop. Can I cuss? I watched that on loop
Yeah.
with my just at home by myself, locked in. You know, when you would just like stare at the VHS description? That was me with all the time at the movie store. You would just like look at it for a long
Hmm.
time and look at all the pictures and read all the words. That was me with Joseph, and my sister would be like, "Mom, you can't get her Joseph again. Like I can't listen to this shit again." Because my sister's older than me. I just watch it
Hmm.
all the time.
That's
I'm a movie repeater.
yeah. Would that be your most repeated film, do you think?
Yes, maybe. I spent when I was young, either that or Charlotte's Web, the old Charlotte's Web.
Hmm. Yeah.
I this whole world is filled with wonders, but there's nothing more beautiful than a farm in springtime is the first line of that movie.
It is
And I
indeed.
and I know that because I used to fall asleep watching it every night. I slept on the couch for years. I don't know why it
Uh-huh.
was greenlit by my family, but I slept on the couch and I would fall asleep watching Charlotte's Web, and that's how they would put me to sleep. And I would be able to fall asleep within the opening credits. And I actually, too, right now, couldn't really tell you how it ends. I know there's like some pig and stuff, but
Hmm.
yeah, no, I really only know the beginning.
That's so funny. If do you think do you think in like a Pavlov effect that like if I were to put it on right now, you would fall asleep?
Yes, because I tried to watch it recently
Uh-huh.
and I did. I couldn't make it. I only can watch the beginning of Charlotte's Web.
You know, and I'll say this about it. It's quite sad ending, so you're really in the right. You know,
Do
it's
they
quite
die? The spider dies.
the spider dies.
You know what? I didn't remember that.
That's fair.
I just remember is there some I can't even sing it. The
Mm,
pig.
Wilbur.
I know his name is Wilbur, but
Yeah.
what's the song? Something to something to something to something a pig. I'll look it up. I'll look it up. I'll look it up later.
I feel like, not to put you on blast, but I feel like next to recounting a dream, trying to remember a song is also one of the most agonizing social interactions you could have. The
Yeah, you're like, no, 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 wait, I'll think of it. I'll think of it.
da, da, ba, ba, da. I know it rhymes with love.
Dee-dee-dee-da-ba. And then you're really just pretending that to not remember so that they can listen to you sing and search for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, you're actually kind of good. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, stop.
So true. Mostly what I remember about Charlottesville is I did it as a play. That was the first play I ever did, actually. I played Templeton the Rat, and the
On
director
brand.
and I had a whole discussion about like whether or not she wanted me to do the Paul Lynde impression the entire time. And so I learned it, and then we just didn't go with it, which is fine. But that really made an imprint on me. That
Okay, you and me, the
yes.
Players Theater, 2025,
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte's Web,
Yeah.
gender swapped,
Okay.
nude.
Nude. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm going.
It's a
Yeah, I'll go
comedy
for it.
production
It'll be
of a
called
gender swapped.
It'll be called Some Hog as opposed to Some
Oh my God,
Pig.
the gays are gonna love this.
Yes.
Hold on, I gotta write a press release right now. I gotta go.
Let me see. Can I get into any fringe festival anywhere? It seems like I'm getting word back. Bad. Cursed and horny idea. Not bad, but definitely cursed and horny.
Person horny, just like the show where we first met.
That's you're
So
not
horny.
truly wild stuff.
Very fun though. I
Mm,
love
true.
movies. I love
Hmm.
movies. I'm glad we're talking about movies. I've not
Hmm.
talked about Charlotte's Web to anyone in a very long time.
Well, I'm happy to do that. Do you have a go-to like I know you were saying you didn't go to the cinema much growing up, but did you have like a go-to snack at home?
Oh,
Would you just
I
oh
did
yeah.
totally go. Also, you calling it the cinema, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to call it the movie theater.
That's
Something
fine.
I know it's the cinema, but I don't know what I am.
I mean, I'm
I'm
pretentious.
too
You're
poor for this. The
I
cinema. I went to the movie theater. I
Yeah,
went to
the
the movie theater
theater.
on 53rd Street. I went to the movie theater, not 53rd. That sounds like I'm in from New York. I don't know why it was called 53rd in my hometown, but I went to the movie theater. Oh yeah, go to popcorn and Milk Duds.
Milk
And we would get
duds.
the Milk Duds from Walgreens near the movie theater before we would go to the movies because it's cheaper. What a freaking waste of money. I think I used to like the blue slushies. And then I got older and I started not bothering with all of that. But I also like
Too
Airhead
decadent.
Extremes.
What is two things? One, you just said frickin'. I want to emphasize you can curse. You can
Oh,
fucking swear
freaking,
if you
actually, I think I
but
meant freaking in that
I
time, but
think
thank
I
you.
also feel like being from the Midwest, I think there's always a frickin' like bubbling up.
Frickin'
Mhm.
gosh.
Uh,
Frickin' gosh darn it.
heck, I gotta tell you, this isn't my favorite.
This
Um,
is heckin' stressful.
um, so I gotta say, and I mean, you've for choosing Milk Duds and popcorn, you got great teeth. I gotta tell you, good for you. Really great job. Because I was
Thank
just
you.
thinking how much of a murderer that would be to like just be a popcorn and Milk Duds. Would you eat it at the same time or
I've
like?
never thought about it. I usually just swallow them whole. That's why. I'm kidding.
Yeah, the way
I
Milk
actually
Duds.
don't chew, and that's the secret to my looks. That's my beauty secret. Whole
That's
swallows. Um,
fantastic.
yeah, I guess it does get stuck in your teeth, huh? You know, my whole family, my yaya love Milk Duds popcorn. My mom loves Milk Duds and popcorn. I think
Sick.
it's hereditary. I've also never thought about it. I just went to the movies earlier this week to try to get to try to see Baby Girl. It was a bad story. I was trying to see Baby Girl. I walk up to the ticket counter with my own 2 feet and I say, "Hello, one ticket for Baby Girl." And she says, "Oh, all we have left is the handicap seats. Do you mind?" I'm like, "Oh, that's okay. Nice, bigger seat,
Hmm.
spacious legroom." I go, I sit down. I see all the previews. I have my snacks. I didn't get Milk Duds. I branched out. I got Nerds gummy clusters. Fucking
Great.
delightful. Friggin' stinkin' heckin' delightful. I'm sitting there waiting to be horned up by Nicole Kidman. When these women walk in, they're like, "Hey, you're in my seat." Come to find out, this woman sold me the space for a wheelchair to go.
That's fucked.
And I was like, "You saw me standing asking for a ticket. Like, why would you knowingly sell me? And like, do you want me to sit crisscross applesauce?" So I had to get a refund and to go home.
That sucks. What theater was this? Are you gonna
Bail
dox
me out
them?
them. It was no, they were, I don't think they meant to, obviously. It must have
Yeah.
been busy. It was the AMC on 19th.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nerds Gummy Clutchster is excellent. But being someone who is a fan of comedy and a fan of films, what's your favorite comedy film?
Oh, She's the Man with Amanda Bynes.
Okay.
I love Amanda Bynes. I ride for Amanda Bynes. I will
Uh-huh.
not tolerate Amanda Bynes slander because of the difficult childhood and problems with addiction she has. That girl is freaking hilarious. Her comedic timing and instincts are incredible. And she had her own variety show at like the ripe age of 13, and
Mhm.
she owned it to the point that our generation will bring in the dancing lobsters. She's one of my big comedy influences. Love
Mhm.
her. So top three are She's the Man for sure. Oh, there's my thumb. I didn't mean to. Miss Congeniality, Sandra Bullock.
Excellent film. Love.
Oh my gosh, is it so good? I just loved her. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are big girl comedy influences for
I
me.
that was the first time I was ever introduced to Michael Caine, and he has been, which is crazy because Muppet Christmas Carol definitely is more appropriate for a child, but we definitely watched Miss Congeniality when I was like 10.
You
Um,
think you love
love
me.
me,
You
you want
wanna
to
kiss
daze me.
me. Yeah.
It's so good. And just going from that to seeing him in Batman, I'm like, well, surely this isn't the same fella. But what was
But
your,
it is.
yeah, it is. What's your third? Your
Singing in
third?
the Rain.
Singing in the Rain. Oh, great. Great picks. Look at you having great taste.
Thank you.
Incredible. Um, are
I
you
love singing.
ready for some quote unquote movie trivia?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was a film major in college.
No, I didn't.
I don't like to tell people that because then they
Okay.
expect me to be able to drop some facts about mise en scène. And I
I'm sorry.
and they're not ready. They're not ready for
No,
my mise en scène.
no. That's
Um,
very fun. I did not know that. That
yeah,
that
I
ex
transferred in. I didn't go into the school trying
mm,
to do film. I transferred in because that's what a lot of the comedy people did, and it seemed like a cool major, and I was interested in being cool, so I tried.
I mean,
And
success.
oh my gosh, I wrote so many papers on movies, including Sing
Hmm.
in the Rain. Also in what's the movie with the boxing and it's not Rocky, but it's the later one with
Oh,
Michael B. Jordan.
Creed.
Creed. I wrote a paper on Creed too.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
I almost said to be such an asshole. It's like not Rocky. I was like Rocky 2. I was like confused for a second.
You're right. It was Rocky too. It was
Yeah.
Rocky too.
Um, so
And
this
Rocky was black.
first question is, as always, to everyone I pose this question, which is, what is movie? What is movie? Tell me. I don't
Oh my
know.
gosh, this feels like a trick. This feels like a setup.
Yeah, it is kind of a trick. It's trivia.
Okay.
It's
Okay. I love your Minnesota bug. A movie
thank you. Movie.
is a story captured on film,
Hmm.
a story told through the medium of recorded film and sound.
I like that. I like that very
That's
much.
my very general. Yeah, because I feel like it's a story. All movies are somewhat of a story. And whether that's fed to you, like Avengers,
Hmm.
or you have to decide what the story is, like, oh, that recent A24 film with Paul Mescal. What's that called? The dad one? The summer something, it doesn't matter. That would have been really cool if I dropped it with confidence. I would have
Yeah.
sounded way smarter.
I'm
But
sorry.
anyway, that's movie to me. Is that good enough? Do I win?
You definitely win for sure. What you win is my admiration, and it's a good answer. Um, Next question is, speaking of cursed and horny, what movie makes you horniest and cannot be pornography? That is a cheat.
Oh, a movie
Yeah.
is
Not Baby
immediately
Girl because you didn't see it.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Bastage.
Oh boy.
I know.
I am
It's
racking my brain. Unknown. Why? Well, I'm going to say this and you're not going to like it. And it's not even true, but Bohemian Rhapsody with Rami Malek. I
Oh,
love Rami Malek. Rami Malek,
okay.
get it. That's not even true. That's not
No.
even true. It is, but it's not.
Okay. Sure. It's like emotionally true, but not physically true.
Damn, maybe
Mhm.
like Mamma Mia. I only watch
I was
musicals.
gonna say there's a very high musical score, even Charlotte's Web. Um,
I guess I just don't get horny.
well, congrats. You must like save a lot of time.
I do. Actually, that's why I'm so powerful.
Yeah, I can sense that off you. Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Um,
I'll think about this one later,
you're
about what movie makes me horny. The only thing that are coming to mind are like tween films that I would have seen and been like, what's going
okay.
on? Like,
That's
is that
fine.
allowed?
Yeah, yeah. What movie made you the horniest when you were discovering yourself? I guess. Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
see, that I
Yeah.
like. Because current horniness, I don't know what, but old horniness, Tarzan.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All
The
right.
animated version, what
Mm-hmm.
is going on under that loincloth? And why
Oh,
can't
I thought you were going to talk about Tantor the elephant. I'm doing it for you.
Oh no,
No,
Tarzan.
Tarzan
His
himself.
I was tantored by his elephant.
Yeah, that makes sense. I that leads into, would that be your first character crush, or did you have one prior where you're like, oh, this movie, I simply must hold this person's hand.
Hmm. I think he might have been the first one.
Yeah.
I also
Okay.
really liked Meg from Hercules. I
That.
like wanted to like be her and maybe hold her hand, I guess, too,
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. A very common
Yeah.
getting stages for gals like me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. They are all animated because, like, what movies do you watch as a kid? I liked Veggie Tales. That's not a movie. They
No,
had a
no, no,
movie
no, no.
though.
But you please go down the VeggieTales route with me. I would love. Who
Mm,
was your favorite? What VeggieTale would you kiss?
holy cow! I haven't thought about them in ages. Broccoli, celery,
Celery,
gotta be Veggie Tales.
VeggieTales.
Remember when they were in the whale?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I do remember. Do you remember the Lord of the Rings parody, Lord of the Beans? Because I think about that.
No, but that's so brilliant. We should bring that back. And I love that it has a Christian flair. More people should believe in God. Not Jesus, but
But
God.
God,
And
yeah, for sure.
I believe that. Um, I think maybe the cucumber. The tomato is not my guy.
Yeah.
I like a bean.
Yeah, a stock.
I like
Stocky
a guy with
bean.
length. I like
Yeah.
an animated guy with length and good Christian values.
Who among us doesn't?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Yeah. From which actor would you steal a car? Yeah, if you had to pick an actor to steal a car from.
I
From
would
whom?
never steal a car.
But you had to.
Okay. Hmm. Maybe the first thing that came to mind was Tom Hanks, but he's so nice. I love him.
Yeah, I mean, he'd probably just give it to you.
He'd probably just give it to me, and then we'd talk about Greek Orthodoxy because he converted to Greek Orthodoxy for his wife.
I did not know that. A lot
Yeah,
of
the reason
Christian
I know that,
themes.
I'll tell you why I know that. My grandmother, my yaya, called me on the phone one day. Lizzie, I just read an article that Tom Hanks is Greek Orthodox. You should call him.
You should call him.
And I was like, Yaya, how am I? I laughed. She goes, why are you laughing? Yaya. She says, Lizzie, just call him. Just tell him you're Greek Orthodox and see what he can do. I said, Yaya, how am I supposed to get Tom Hanks' phone number? She goes, I don't know. You'll figure it out. So one day, it's actually really, she passed away in October. One day, I will be, I will call Tom Hanks and tell him this. I hope one day. And then the other thing for my other grandmother who loves the Hallmark Channel movies,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be in a Hallmark movie.
Mm-hmm. That's very good. That's very good. My next question for you is, what animal would you want to ratatouille yourself into success? It can fit under whatever hat. It's like, it doesn't need to be a small animal.
Oh, so I can pick the animal and it's gonna make
Yeah,
it's gonna make it happen
exactly.
for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a raccoon because they are scrappy.
They
They
are.
they don't care. They don't give a damn. And people are afraid of them because they're like rabies, but they're cute. So you like them and you'll get
Mm-hmm.
a stuffed animal of it like for your kid at the the like museum gift shop, but like they're dangerous.
Yeah, they actually really are.
Yeah, I
You
trusted my ability for a raccoon to guide me to where I want to go.
that that absolutely
Which
makes
is the
sense.
danger zone.
um Gosh, I had one, and then when I'm reading these, I
Oh,
gotta
good.
say,
I'm glad. I can't believe I couldn't come up with this if my life depended on it.
Well, I'm glad.
There's a
Uh,
one movie I have to tell you about before we're
yeah,
done talking.
yeah, for sure. You can talk about it now.
Okay. It made me who I am.
Mm,
It's called Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging.
go on.
Hear me out, hear me out. It is based on a 10-book series of books that were for coming of age girls in the UK
Right.
called, if you know what I'm talking about, that's crazy. This is a deep cut, but they made it. So it was a book series by this woman who has actually since passed away, which is very sad. And the fictional main character is Georgia Nicholson. And she's so funny. And the woman who wrote it is so funny, also named Georgia. And she's like a coming of age teen in school in not London, but like I think it's Brighton area.
Hmm.
Anyway. And so then in 2000 something, they made a Nickelodeon movie of it, and this, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. And it has the song Ultraviolet in where like her sex god boyfriend Robbie, who's in a band, plays the song at the end. And she has like brown hair and a big nose and a banging personality. And I'm like, that's me. And so at the end, when he sings to her, I was like, I need to date a man in a band.
And did you?
Oh yeah.
And how'd that go?
Oh, good. Yes, it was years
Yeah.
ago. Haven't dated a man. It went fine. It went really well for me for a while, and then we went
Hmm.
to college and we went to different colleges, and um he had, you know, it went how it went. He's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
no bad blood, very nice man, also from
Mhm.
Iowa. Have I dated a musician since? No. I think I'm too insufferable to then date someone else who's also insufferable. There can't be two of us.
Sure, sure. Relationship should not be two people suffering. It should be two people
Yeah, it should be
joyfully.
one person who's really awesome and then another person who's telling them how awesome they are.
That's true.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Don't put that on the record. Off the record. Off the
um,
record.
I will say I did recognize the name of what you were just talking about because I, like so many of people of my ilk, had a Tumblr account in the early 2000s and was like, ah, yes. But that's a very good poll. My next question for you is what movie has the best soundtrack, do you think?
Maybe like I feel like I'm gonna go older school here.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even think. Like, I mean, honestly, Harry Potter, is that
Okay.
bad? Or like Star Wars? I think anything like nowadays you get really awesome soundtracks with like songs that you know and they're like well placed and stuff. But to me, like you cannot be an incredible soundtrack orchestra like
Mm-hmm.
making it happen and the sound being incredible. So that takes me back to like loving the music in Harry Potter or like the sound in Star Wars. Like I think more like old school for that than like modern day awesome soundtrack.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm in agreement there that mostly like classical scores are what I look for. Though when I had asked you that, I had occurred no one has ever asked me that, and I was like, I think American Graffiti might have my favorite soundtrack, and that's all like rock and roll. But I agree with
Mm.
you. I think I love this big sweeping pastoral string orchestra. You know,
Yeah, that's
um,
why I love musicals too, because you have
mhm.
like a live pit. Because I was in band my whole life. I love band and choir. So like
What'd you play?
getting the oboe.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So I love and I love you hear the oboe a lot in orchestras and in
Hmm.
sound like that. So yeah, I think that would be my answer.
That's great. I love that. Um, Last question, as always. What makes Austin Powers so sexy? What's his
Um,
appeal?
I don't know. I don't know. Are you a big Austin Powers fan?
No, not huge. I just think
Only
it's a fun question to ask.
it is a fun question to ask. When I hear Austin Powers, I just think isn't it Do I Make You Horny,
Yeah,
baby?
that's him. Yep, yeah, you got it.
That's him.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess my earnest answer is I don't know. I don't know that I'm turned on by Austin Powers, and I'm gonna tell you something, and you're not gonna like. Think I've seen that movie all the way through.
Here's the thing. I don't mind it. I think you're probably better off for it. And I'll say this. You're the first like I don't find him appealing, and I think that's very powerful.
Do people, is the point that people think, isn't it Mike Myers? Isn't
Yeah,
the
it
point
is.
people think that he's hot? Is that part of it?
Yeah, within the diegetically within the film series, everyone thinks Austin Powers is like alluring, which is often it's obviously played for laughs because
I'm
he's
gonna
such
pull up a
a
quick pic
yeah.
because
You're gonna be like, because he's clearly meant to not look great, but yeah, within the context of the film, everyone's attracted to this
oh, with
man.
his teeth like
The
this.
teeth and the
Yeah.
glasses and the suits and all of this and his
I want to
mojo.
be in the room where Mike Myers started pitching this idea
Okay, sure.
with Seth Green and Rob Lowe. And he was like,
Mhm.
no, 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 get this. I'm going to be really hot and you're going to be there.
Also,
Yeah.
end of thought. I love that. I love that so much that you're like, I'm good. I'm good out here. I like that.
Yeah. It was one of my recent resolutions, I think in like 2023 or 24, to stop pretending I've seen the movie if I haven't seen it.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
and I want to film a character actually that's the girl who's totally seen the movie you're talking about. And she's just like,
Mm,
oh, yes. Oh my God.
the themes.
So good. The themes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I remember my mom loved that one too. Oh, yes, she loved it, you know.
Mhm, mhm.
But I stopped doing that and now I'm a truth teller.
Good. I'm glad. Again, very powerful to be like, I don't know what the hell you're talking
I
about.
don't know what that is.
I mean, Larry King had that thing. He goes, the only reason I'm a good interviewer is because I'm stupid. I ask people, what is that? I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. And people respect that and respond to it when I'm doing an interview. And I'm like, there is a power in curiosity.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the game? For our random word?
I think so. I'm a little nervous.
Well, don't be. I've done this a lot. I got you.
Okay.
We got this together. Adjust. 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 I have a couple of places my mind goes, but I like to, if you have like something that's speaking to you, I defer to my guest always because I don't want to steamroll them. But I have a couple of notions as to where we can begin.
Absolutely. So we're beginning by you and I are pitching what this movie is and what it's about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I knew that. I knew that, and I was ready. Okay.
Mhm.
You can start. I'm a
Okay.
great yes-ander. Yeah.
Sure.
Things come to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sure. Yeah, no worries. Adjust to me feels like it's about someone in an ad agency trying to make sure that the things that they're advertising are ethically sound and the fight against that.
Oh, I love this. So what I'm getting from adjust or adjust, I think it's a woman's story.
Mm-hmm.
You saying advertisers makes me think of Mad Men and kind
Mm-hmm.
of that era. I think we go even earlier. Even
Okay.
earlier, and it's women, and there's a plucky, is this how we're supposed to do it?
Yeah. No,
There's a
you're doing good.
plucky young woman, and she has a really cool husband, which allows for her to be cool. Like her husband's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, these women are getting ideas and I'm here for it. So she has all these ideas and she
Mm-hmm.
thinks that they should start advertising to women for women.
Mm.
And people are just getting up in arms that this girl's getting ideas in the ad agency and who let her in.
I like that a lot. You said it's even further back time-wise. Now, when you said that, I immediately pictured the Old West. Is that too far back?
Holy moly.
Where it's like
I wasn't going
sarsaparilla.
sarsaparilla would be great. She's getting, yeah, sarsaparilla that's gonna like help women. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was picturing like keeping up with the Joneses, like isn't that the 30s or the
I
40s? Like
I
when
don't know.
you don't go. So keeping up with the Joneses was a phrase that was used when like it was very hegemonous in the
Hmm.
30s. This is real, I believe. If I'm wrong,
It's
here we
like
go.
post-war, right?
It's pre-World War II
Oh, it
in the
is. Okay.
30s. And it's very all-American life.
Mm-hmm.
Coca-Cola had Coke probably in glass
Mm-hmm.
bottles, but it's like kind of Great Depression era-y. Very everyone is the same,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to be like what your neighbors have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Pre-World War II. And so women all had to fit the cookie cutter mold. Picture like
Mm-hmm.
an overshot view. This is the movie,
Mm-hmm.
establishing shot of a grocery store from above, and there's women who all look the same in their same kind of exact same dress outfits going up and down the aisles, but then one woman is like wearing pants.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. I think
Do
that's
you know
good.
enough of this time era for us
Yeah.
to keep going on though? Because we could
Yeah.
pivot to like the 60s or the 50s.
No, it's all good. I'll know enough, and if I don't, you do. So I trust you and I trust me. I like that. I think that so the main thrust of it is a woman pitching the idea of women advertising to women
Yeah.
and overcoming the obstacles of men not wanting her to do that. So does she like go to work then?
Yes. And okay, I think she doesn't go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think she stays home and her husband's the ad exec because in the 30s,
Mm-hmm.
she wouldn't have been allowed.
So it's like a Cyrano de Bergerac sort of situation where she's writing the copy and then he's passing it off as his own.
Yes. Also similar to a Ratatouille where she's side of his hat.
That's true. That is very true.
Not to belabor the Ratatouille point.
No. Ratatouille, great film, great cultural moment. I like that a lot. Does she eventually get fed up with not getting the credit for it, and that's like where the conflict comes from, or does everyone at the job find out, and then they all of a sudden have a problem with it?
Mm.
Like, does she cause the conflict, or is the conflict thrust upon her, do you reckon?
I think the conflict, oh, I wonder if it's thrust upon her and we can
Mm-hmm.
like go slightly into a court kind of situation. Like maybe
Mm.
something is illegal actually. And the ad agency or her husband is like being come after because he put something out for the women to
Mm-hmm.
get ideas. And maybe those ideas are something that actually would have really threatened society at the time, like something like birth control or like I know, like maybe it's like some kind of underwear or like a vibrator, something for the first time. I don't know. This
Mm-hmm.
is not going to be historically accurate. And so then her husband is getting in trouble and is like going to be arrested. And she's like, we need to come clean. We need to say it was me. And he's like, no, I'm going to go down for the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking more of an improv scene than maybe a full movie,
That's
but
fine.
we all have our strengths.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's good, though. I do think that's good, and I think I can't imagine what the thing that would be illegal would be, unless it was like misinformation, or like,
Mm.
he's going to court for false advertising, essentially.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe
Um,
that's not heightened enough of a
yeah,
stake.
I
Mm.
yeah.
Maybe we need some B characters. Who are her
Here,
friends?
who are her
How
friends?
can we make this sexy?
Sure. Well, you add Austin Powers, obviously. That's the number one. If you
Mm.
want to add sex appeal, you add Austin Powers to a film. No,
I
I
was thinking that that Mike Myers would be in drag playing our ingenue.
with his bleach blonde hair that he currently has. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Is his hair bleach blonde in real life right now?
I think he's just gone gray,
Oh,
to be honest. But yeah, he's like it's very prominently white. Um,
that's cool.
yeah, it is. But
Okay.
I
I'm
think
hating this. Am I
she
hating this? No. I have to double
no.
down on my ideas and I have to
Yeah, I
love
think
them.
you're fine.
It's
I
just because I
think
hate women.
listen, same. No, I feel like I feel like she probably has two friends, right? Because then three friends. I feel like one of them is like a neighbor lady that she's friendly with, and the other is like a neighbor guy that's like there's an implication that he's gay, right? But they're not
Oh,
talking about it.
okay.
Um,
Because it's the 30s.
because it's the 30s. And I feel like those are our three, like when the husband's away, those three people have mostly conflict, or like
Yeah.
most of the screen time. I feel
Yeah,
like
and they're kind of like really enjoyable. I think what I really am going for with
hmm
adjust
hmm
is and hear me out, the theme here, that there's the adjustment for public facing, and then the private lives are much different in the 30s than everyone would know.
yes.
So like these three when they're together are like very funny and like even have like some more modern ideas going
hmm
um than they can let on. And they're like trying to disseminate their ideas through these ads in like a very unsneaky way.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that makes sense, and then also that would make sense as to why it would be like a big issue that this guy gets caught if it's like actual like radical ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it has to start small and then like build and build and build and get bigger and
Yeah,
bigger and
something
bigger.
they advertise has to get really popular and get out of
hmm
hand to the point that like the competitor
hmm
is mad or it's threatening some sort of status quo, maybe
hmm
governmenty. I'm trying to think. Because if you're in the 30s, you can get kind of, there's some Great Depression era stuff.
Isn't that when that's when hooch was illegal, right?
Hooch. Yeah, the 20s. I don't know when hooch officially became legal again. The 20s is more prohibition era.
I'm gonna look up when did prohibition end. I also just looked up can you go to jail for false advertising? The answer is correct.
You
So you
can?
can. So if we want to have that be what it is, that's on the
Mm.
table. When
Yeah,
did
I really went down this like girl power um theme.
yeah, the prohibition ended in 33. So if we wanted it to be like a competitor to Coca-Cola that secretly has alcohol in it, we could do
Mm.
that if you wanted. But I do agree like there should be a girl power element to it. I don't know how getting drunk off of Coca-Cola is like feminism. I don't
No,
think
I
it
know.
is.
It's not. And this isn't very funny, but we weren't really trying to make a comedy.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. Uh,
Adjust. We can't bail, right? We stay on our movie, right?
well, if you wanted to throw in an idea, we
I
could
don't want
see.
to bail. I don't want to
Yeah.
bail necessarily.
No, we
I want
probably
to
add to it.
think, I want to expand because
Hmm.
when I heard adjust, my first thought was adjustments to a garment, like getting it tailored or getting your
Mm.
clothes adjusted, like going into like the dry cleaners or something. And then I was like, okay, what if it's a movie in a like dry cleaners or in a like a tailors, like the people
Hmm.
who fix clothes,
Hmm.
but they all have like rich lives, backstories, betrayal, and sex,
Yeah.
but all interstitched with clothes and garments and deadlines, and somehow like the visuals are really choppy, like like in The Bear when it's stressful when he's chopping onions,
I've
the
never seen that
stress
show,
that your
but yeah.
finger is, oh, you haven't seen, okay, your finger is going to get stuck in the needle of the sewing machine.
Oh, I see. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, yeah.
This is a totally different idea.
I mean, I feel like we can kind of combine these issues if you're willing to put change the time period from early 30s to late 30s, early 40s when America has gone to war, and all of a sudden all these women are making all these uniforms for the boys overseas. And then there's like they're sewing in like whatever feminist propaganda you want into the uniforms that they're sending across, and then they get in trouble that way if you wanted to.
Ooh, and make it kind of cool. Yeah, we need another wartime movie.
I think it's been a little bit, to be honest.
People haven't made enough of these.
Yeah, it's so true. Specifically not about World War II, one that it seems widely untouched.
Widely untouched, specifically for women.
Hmm.
Everyone knows it was a great time for women. Okay. Um, World War II,
That's just a thought.
ladies
We don't have to.
sewing. No, I think,
Okay.
yeah, the 30s might have been limiting for, we don't know anything about the 30s. And you know what? It's almost 100 years ago now, the 30s.
I don't love that knowledge, but you are right.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, the 20s, like
Yeah.
Prohibition era, right? It would have been happening 100 years ago, right
Yeah,
now.
that's so wild to think
I
about.
know. Whoa, a totally different pitch. A totally
Okay.
different pitch. You're ready for this. Okay. So listen to me. Listen up. Listen up. It's a movie. It's a movie, you see, and it takes place in 2025 and 1925. And it goes back and forth to the 20s are the bit, what is that
Hmm.
era called? The roaring 20s.
Hmm.
So you have the roaring 20s, and it's the same family
Mm.
generations later, the same plucky girl in the 20s and her great descendant in 2025.
Hmm.
Similarities and hilarity ensue.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. I would say if we're
We've
gonna
gone
go,
off the rails. We're supposed to pick one and do a movie the whole podcast. Elizabeth Coyne, you have too many ideas.
it's a-okay. I like that though. I think that's certainly compelling as a framing device, and I feel as though again my tendency is to like how can we mush all of these together? Because you could have that being like the framework is it's a gal in the 20s, and but anyway, actually nah, I don't think mushing them together works as well as it could, but I do like that notion of jumping between 100 years, and I feel like the way the framing device would be like the grandmother just died. She lived to 100, like or whatever, like 103 or whatever it is. She would have to be like 117. That doesn't quite work. But like similar to what you're describing earlier, this gal's going through her diaries and her journals and stuff, and that's what's the impetus for going back 100 years or whatever.
Hmm. That's
And
so cool. I love time travel like that.
mhm. And you're jumping back and forth, and um yeah.
Yeah, and maybe okay, yes, I like this. Okay, I think we stay, so
Yeah.
we're taking the time period framing of the second idea, bringing it back to our kind of adjust,
Hmm.
add slash probably seamstress thing.
Hmm.
I think it's fun if The grandmother, love that. The grandmother is like the oldest woman to ever live, and her granddaughter is like going through all of her things. And her granddaughter like works in high fashion in New York in 2025 and is like this extremely busy, like devil wears Prada ass, like has no time, but she was very close with her grandmother. So she takes the time, goes through all of these things, and then like discovers 100 years ago or whatever it was, her grandmother or her great grandmother was like the seamstress of the war or something like similarly parallel to what she's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
If it whether it's advertising or it's in fashion or clothes. But like I like the idea that a high-powered exec woman with like no time takes the time and then finds the meaning of life. This is a Hallmark
I was
movie.
gonna
This
say,
is
and
a
you.
Hallmark
I was
movie.
gonna say, you love Hallmark movies. Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's good. I think that if that's the case, I think it should be advertising,
Okay, yeah.
and the jumping back is all stuff that's like similar to what you're saying, like propaganda that this gal was working on for like whatever government agency you want, that she's secretly sliding in messages into the advertising. Like if you like rearrange letters or whatever, it's like kind of an element of national treasure or whatever. And then from there, she kind of, I think then she can decode something from all of this gal's journal, this grandmother's journals, to discover something about herself, whatever that thing is. We have to
Mm.
decide, but I think that's part of it as well. It's kind of like, if there's, I think if there's that element of like, it's not just her going through and reminiscing, if there's like something actionable, for her to do.
Yes, something is going to repeat itself in
Mm-hmm.
some way.
Mm-hmm.
Or there was something that her grandmother was trying to tell her, very
Mm-hmm.
national treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, something that she was like meant to know is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
What would she be meant to know? This high ad exec in New York. I think.
I guess I don't know how magical it's supposed to be. Like, is her grandmother supposed to like have been able to predict the future? Like, we're going like a little like magical with it. Like, National
Sure.
Treasure is kind of magically, or is it just like I'm trying to think of like a social commentary you could even be making about like women, modern women.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we really went down this path.
Yeah. I think. Let me think for a second here. I feel like, the parallel you could probably make between 1920s women is they should cut their hair. No, is that um I don't know. I feel like maybe there's some sort of incriminating evidence of some sort of like corporate espionage that is unlocked, that is be, becomes a threat to her job. Maybe, I don't know. This is all becoming very sort of conspiracy theorist, and
Yeah,
I don't
tough.
know.
Okay, no, I don't hate it. I don't hate it though. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's something about maybe to make it less conspiracy and less broad. It's like we
Mm,
bring it more specific
mm-hmm.
like to this woman and
And
like
her
what
family.
she's doing. Like maybe I'm just trying to think like overcoming. Like 1920s is like very gangster ridden. So like you
Flapper,
could have
yeah.
flappers, gangsters, Gatsby parties,
Mm-hmm.
speakeasies. Um So maybe she's like a Natasha Lyonne character and she's like going off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
Like drunk, like thinking kind of Russian Dolly, like
Mm-hmm.
she's like falling apart, partying too much maybe. Maybe she's like a Bushwick rave girl if it's 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Um no, then we're not really on the ad agency because she wouldn't be a rave girl if she was doing advertising.
I
Well,
don't, yeah, I was gonna say, I think you'd find that,
there might be
like,
some overlap,
yeah,
huh?
there's, I think, a fair amount of overlap. And so, I mean, the lesson that she could learn by the end of the film is that she has to kind of clean up her act, right?
Yeah, clean up her act or like yeah, the women. I kind of like the like women have to make it for themselves. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be handed to them. Like you've always had the power. You just have to find it for yourself kind of a thing.
Okay.
Alternatively, it's a musical.
Okay, love it.
Alternatively, it's a musical. That's all. That's it. That's my whole
It's
pitch.
just that the ad is like also it's also a musical. I think that's good. I think having a musical set that's 100 years apart is great because then you can do the music from the 20s, all much like ha, da, 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 and then a bunch of like dance music from the 2025s, and then you can do a medley where they overlap, and that's fun.
That is fun.
Yeah.
Okay, see, making it a
Hmm.
musical is making this less conspiratorial. It's making it more us.
Yeah.
I want a romance in there somewhere.
Yes. I think. Oh, that's. I think probably one of the bigger reveals as well that could be added is that her great grandmother or whomever it is, it was all like is like gay, and it turns
Mm,
out like that's kind of the big family secret. And she's like, "That's actually fine. I don't understand. I'm also gay. I don't know why everyone hid this from me."
yeah.
I think that could
Yeah,
be
I like
fun.
the gay angle. 'Cause like yeah,
The
to the
angle.
2025 character, she's like so, but then realizing what that meant
Mm-hmm.
then and like yeah, it would be interesting. I think just in general in a musical to explore because I love a historical musical that explores like think Great Gatsby. Bitches love Great Gatsby. What about what were the lesbians doing in the
Yeah.
1920s?
Yeah.
Where were the lesbians in the 1920s?
Yeah. They,
Did they have their own speakeasies? What was their underground connections?
yeah. I think exploring that would be good. I feel like and then
This is so funny.
the other
That's
revelation
silly,
could be
this whole
like
thing.
maybe that her grandmother like founded a lesbian bar during the
Ah,
20s and that she still has the deed to it and she like still owns that and that's what like the kind of like reward for putting all these clues together is that
that's cool
she'll
that she owns the bar.
owns a
Or
lesbian bar in Brooklyn or whatever.
oh my gosh, here we go. I got
Hmm.
it. It's like
Great.
National Treasure. It's a girl. She's down on her luck. She works at an ad agency, doesn't make enough money, whatever. Okay. She's working at a bar, like a gay bar.
Hmm.
She's treated so poorly. She hates it there, whatever. And then she
Hmm.
goes on this elaborate mission, finds out that she owns the bar is rightfully hers. And
Yeah,
then she turns it into like the thriving lesbian speakeasy bar it was meant to be.
I love that. That's great.
And it's a musical.
And it's a musical.
Maybe it's a jukebox musical with like all of the
Hmm.
songs from, I don't know. I
Yeah.
was gonna say Maggie Rogers, but that's not right. Fiona Apple, no.
I feel like having like a mixed jukebox musical could be good as well because also like all of that stuff from the 20s is in public domain now. So we can go kind of ham with that. Um
Mm.
but then also like I feel like slapping some Lana Del Rey in there, slapping
Ooh.
some Chappell Roan in there for the modern stuff would be good
Because
as
then it has
well.
Chaperone is great, because then it has a Moulin Rouge kind of effect as a
Yes,
musical where
exactly.
there's songs you don't know and then there's songs you do know.
Hmm.
And it's like I love that. So it's Moulin Rouge where you're like you get to see both time periods and then
Hmm.
things and then you see that the two time periods where the people they might be 100 years apart, but the story, the thread is the same. And it's that
Exactly.
it's always about who you love or something.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
like
God,
it.
okay, I think we're ready to pitch this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
call NBC. I gotta go.
who do you want to play these characters, do you think? Who do you think would be
It's a
good?
musical now, right?
Yeah, so it should be someone who can sing at least a little.
Honestly, I think you get Chapel Roan to play the 2025 girl.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Is that
I've never
crazy?
No, I
I don't
don't
know if
think
she can
so.
act.
Probably I don't know either, but like probably.
Maybe Renee Rapp.
She seems really talented. She would probably act.
Yeah, maybe Renee Rapp then. I'm just trying to think of a
Okay.
Broadway-esque girl who can act.
What is it? Rachel Ziegler?
Mm.
She could be there. I think like Rachel Ziegler should be the girlfriend to the main gal though. I see her more there.
Hmm.
I think I have no idea if she can sing or not. I think Catherine Hahn would be really good for the grandmother.
Catherine Hahn rocks.
She's so good. I love her a lot.
Yeah.
Um, Means so much to me personally.
Huh.
Um, but for
Who do I always mistake Catherine Hahn for?
the gal that plays Chessie in The Parent Trap because they look exactly the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also somehow, um, is her name Tabitha? No. The new, what's her name? She went to Northwestern. She's a comedian. She's the new evil villain. It was Agatha. Agatha
Oh yeah.
all along.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
plays her?
Catherine Hahn.
Oh, we're thinking, oh, it was Catherine Hahn
Hahn
all along. She went to Northwestern. Catherine Hahn went to Northwestern. That's
Oh, that's
okay.
lovely. That's great.
Who's the no, I'm kidding.
It's gonna be Catherine.
Who is the other person?
I think
Yeah,
for
Catherine Hahn would be great. She sings.
yeah. If not, we'll make her. Um, but the main
And Donny
gal,
Osmond plays himself.
Donny Osmond as himself is very good. He's just a regular at the bar. He's
There's
just
some
trying
morbid
to
undertones.
he's just trying to buy the bar from the current owner, and that's why they're all stressed out. The current owner, played by Abby Jacobson, who's just like so frazzled and is this again an owner of what is clearly a lesbian bar, and Donny Osmond wants to come in and make it like a normal like cafe, only with no caffeine. It's a Mormon themed bookshop is what he wants. Um but
Incredible.
the main gal. I think Chapel Run's fine. I think just sliding her in there because she's got a great voice. I think she's charismatic. I think she could probably hold the center. Be fine.
Yeah, it just has to be someone who can actually sing because we're recording these vocals live.
Yeah. We gotta
There
call
will
up
be
Tom
no-
Hooper and be
Yeah.
like, remember how well it went that one time? Let's see if we can do it again.
It's gonna be like Wicked.
I like it. Excellent. Do you want to do? Is there anything else about this film that we've made that is left on the table that you don't want? Oh, who should direct it? Do you think?
Us.
Yes. Okay, great. Love it. Is there any other elements to the story that you want to address before we move on to the lightning round, which is something I forgot to explain to you before we began, but I will explain to you now.
I will do it on the fly, on the fly. No, I think this movie is incredible. I think it's ready to go. I think it's never been done before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only thing I care a lot about is that the costumes are really cool and colorful.
I agree. I think that's great.
Maybe Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. I think Lin Banana could totally do very well in an advisory role.
Amanda Bynes. That's nothing. But yeah, I think that'd be good. Tic Tic Boom is so good. He's a great director.
Agree.
So the way the lightning round works is we both get the same prompt and we do like a mini pitch. And I'll give you an example. I'll go first.
Okay.
It's Order. Order is about people that work at a fast food restaurant that is unnamed, and it's a mockumentary style about one gal that is just desperate to become the branch manager and her quest for power and how she's delusional. And that is what Order is about for me.
And now I do Order as well.
Exactly.
Order. It is a group of police officers who have quit. So it's no longer Law and Order, it's just Order. And they've taken to the streets as a rogue team of police officers who are going to fight crime Robin Hood style. And they run into problems, but they are ultimately good guys, and they end up solving a case that the police just couldn't solve and getting justice for everyone. And that's Order.
Great. Love it.
Action film.
The next is Approve. Approve for me is about, it's a drama about a young black couple in Detroit, Michigan that is trying to get approved for a home loan and the obstacles they have to overcome during like the 1970s. And obviously that would be difficult for them. That's what Approve means for me.
Oh, incredible. Wow. I'm getting nothing from Approve, but I can do it. Here we go. We're going to wing it.
Sure.
All right. Approve. is the story of a man who works in a factory where they make making stamps, like
Mm.
inkwell stamps, like the stamp that says approved.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a real jokester, him and his family, and
Mm-hmm.
he wants to play a joke on the American people and on his boss by actually taking out one P of the word approve on every stamp that goes around nationwide, and they
Just
kill him for it. And the story is of his son getting justice for his father.
that's and they kill him for it.
And that's what happens when I don't have an idea.
That is
Normal.
A-okay. Oh, the final prompt for lightning round is Valley. For me, Valley is a romance film, probably by Terrence Malick, about the Red River Valley, and it's based off of the song of the same name, where as someone who is going to California for the gold rush falls in love with a cowboy that works there in the valley, and but due to obligations they have to leave, and they have a romance back and forth, and it's quite sad. And they like write letters and all this, and then eventually he goes out to California and finds out, she's been dead for several years, and it just takes that long for letters to get any place because it's the Old West.
Nice.
Thank you.
Valley. I would watch that. I would watch your Valley.
Hey,
Okay,
thanks.
my Valley is a Pixar. It's an animated movie, a Pixar movie, and it is that horrible things are happening to the environment and the animals, but there's one valley that is safe. And so all of the animals have to come and live in that valley and create a new civilization. And so they all have different animal houses and friends, and they the valley is where it's safe, but then surprise, surprise, there's a threat on the valley.
Hmm.
And they need to work together, all of these different kinds of funny animal friends, to save the world.
I like it. Very cute, very sweet, very good.
Thank you.
Um, what number one, thanks for doing this podcast. And number two, what do you want people to know about you that listened this far?
Wow, if you
Yeah,
listen this far, incredible. Thank you so much for doing that.
stronger than the
What would I
Marines.
like them to know about me?
Mm-hmm.
I am a character performer and a
Mm-hmm.
writer, and follow me on Instagram, probably Liz Coyne, and that I love talking to people about comedy and about dreams. And if you're listening to this, it means you probably care a lot about improv and want to do stuff like this. So let's do it together and go have fun.
That's great. I love that.
Is that okay? What would
That's
you like?
perfect. Oh, the same thing I always say, which is if you liked this podcast, you can go to tristanmiller.substack.com and support me there. You get film reviews, you get the podcast early, the video of the podcast, and also a bonus podcast called Movies to Fall Asleep To, where I talk to people about their comfort films, much as we did at the beginning of this podcast.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really
I
nice.
love that.
It's a sleep podcast, so it's like very the vibe is completely different than what we just did.
Yeah, there was nothing sleepy about this.
Not at all. That's the main thing. But also I
Cool.
want to say thank you very much for doing this. You're a delight to talk to, and I'm so glad we found a time to do this.
Me too. Thanks for having me. This was awesome. Yeah, I realized how ass I would be at writing a feature if someone made me. So I'm gonna go work on that.